Alright guys, so welcome to today's episode. Today's episode we've been working on getting the transmission tunnel cut up and massaging the sides as much as we need to help fit the transmission. I actually now have the transmission in. It's currently sitting in my garage here along with 3 other boxes. I'm not going to be unboxing just yet until we actually get this ready, so when I open the transmission, hopefully I can just work on getting installed the same day, along with like the drive shaft, getting the clutch lines in. It's a bunch of stuff we pretty much have to do, and I kind of want to just have this part ready, so if I open up the box it's not going to be just sitting there. So let me show you guys exactly what we're cutting. Alright guys, so I've been working on this section of the swap for about 2 to 3 weeks now. It's been taking a while. I dread anyone who has to do this to remove the stock trans mounts off, but I got 2 of these sides out. Now these ones mount up like the sides right here. Basically the way to get everything off is a bunch of spot welds located everywhere throughout. So see everything. Alright, so there's a bunch of these spot welds located all throughout the car. I don't know if you guys can see this, but it's a small like little indentation right here. The circle. Basically what you want to do is you want to get a spot weld drill bit that looks like this, and you're going to be taking it, crushing into this and drilling it out. Now I recommend getting a 90-degree hand drill to drill it out, and also to get a tap and a punch to kind of start off the, you kind of want to start off these drilling out these follow drill bits with a drill bit here, to kind of like what I did right here is I used the drill bit and I started drilling here to make a hole or a little indent so the middle of this can stick on, and I can press down and just keep it straight to drill it out. Now on this section there's about only 40 to 50 spot welds for everything. Is a lot. So the motivation to stay down here is not the best, but hey, this is the best way I found to kind of get everything out. As you guys can see, there's 3 up top here. It's the same for both sides. So 3 up top. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think there's another one up top here. 10 on both sides. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 46, and then including the ones on here that you're gonna have to drill out too, because the spot weld drill only goes so far, so you're gonna want to take these ones out here, then go to the side here, take these ones out first, and then once I got that off, I drilled down even deeper to get on, so hopefully get this one off. So on this one, there's another template for you guys. There's another 5 up top there. 1, 2, 3 on the bottom, on the sides, another 4 here, so 5, 10, 4, 8, 6, 12, 20, 25? No, 25. 50 there in total, so it was like 100 something. There's a lot. There's a lot you guys could do. And yeah, I've just been at this for a while because I also have work. But this is what I'm doing to get the stock trans mount off. And once this is off, there's going to be a hole, obviously, as you guys can see here, there's a hole. So there's going to be little indentations here. So once I get this off, I'm going to go ahead and probably get a Dremel or something to shave this all down, because we need as much clearance as we can in the trans tunnel here to fit the T56. So I'm going to be shaving as much of these down to get it all smooth. Probably hit it with some black paint and see exactly how we're going to mount this T56. So, alright guys, after a long time coming, I want to show you guys what victory freaking looks like. Here's this son of a bitch. Alright, so god damn it, I feel like the fucking man right now after removing this. There's all those goddamn spot welds. As you can see, there is a lot, and the motivation to stand here is it's hard, I ain't gonna lie, but there we have it. This whole stock trans mount bracket is off. Throw this to the side, so we don't need that anymore. Throw that hose to the side. All right. So now that we have all this off, I'm gonna go ahead and take a Dremel
start cutting these away to make it more flat, and probably hit it with some paint. Some of these, I don't know if you can see that, popped in because I cut a little deep. Some of these did end up snapping off, like this one here did end up snapping off while I was drilling away at it. So hopefully maybe I can snap some more of these off, because that'd be great. A lot easier that way. But some of these I can tell are not going to snap off. Just a little deeper already, but yeah, that thing's off. Now the only other thing before after cutting this, before we can actually mount the engine, is getting this bracket right here off. This is for the strut tower brace. So here's an image of what a spot weld looks like to what to look for. There's about 1, 2, and then 3 spot welds. And hopefully this thing can just come off. This feels like silicone right here. So I should be able to just, after I get those off, just kind of just pry it up and rip it off. So hopefully that's the plan. And then these heater hoses, not sure what I'm gonna do about this. I'm gonna remove this rubber piece right here. So I'm thinking maybe if I can cut this back to where this little indentation is here, cut this all the way back, right? Cut it all the way back and lay a bead of aluminum down, like maybe the top here and the bottom, maybe just all the way around, something similar to how this is at the tip. And maybe I can shove a hose there and we can run our heater lines, because the only issue with this being so far out is that the valve covers will end up hitting this. So I want to kind of go a little bit further than what this is, so that I can hopefully run my heater lines. And if that doesn't work, then that's going to be, you guys can see the heater core, you guys can kind of see the heater core in the back right there. That means I'm going to have to remove my whole interior to get to that heater core, which I prefer not to do. I've seen someone do it where they had enough space so where they can run heater lines without having to remove everything. And other people, what they do is they'll remove the heater core, and basically where these lines are, they'll cut it off and weld on AN fitting. That is another route that you guys can do. But like I said, that does require you to actually remove all of the entire heater core and your entire interior to get to that heater core. Which I mean by entire interior means like taking about your entire dash, like everything has to come out. There's no ifs, no buts, everything has to come out. Like I said, I don't want to do that. So if I can maybe save the time and do that, that'd be a lot easier. Now for the whole AC situation, the AC block right here, I do have some AC lines from Savage Auto Works that I will be doing an install on. But as you can see, we don't have the actual engine here yet. So I'm gonna wait till the engine's in here, start running the heater, the AC block to the AC condenser, and hopefully everything should flow the way it is. Now, for the stock wiring harness here, not sure what we're gonna do about this, how we're gonna mount this. Maybe up here again, like back up here somehow, maybe have it sit somewhere, because the exhaust manifold is gonna be right here. So we're gonna see how we're gonna run this. Some of these tabs are broken because I broke them off like an idiot, but we'll see. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and drill. I'm gonna go ahead and tap a little with a punch right here, the little indentation, and then I'm gonna use a drill bit to drill a little bit in, and then we're gonna go ahead and take this off. So I'll show you guys what that looks like. So basically what I'm doing here is the same process which you guys would use to get your stock trans mount off. So I'm gonna find the center of this hole as best as I can with this spot weld here, try to find the center of it. Tap a good little indent in there, tap one in all of them. Then you want to take a drill with a decent sized drill bit. This size that I am using for the spot welds is 30 drill bits. So this drill bit here that I'm using is a size 30 for reference. Alright, now I'm going to take the spot weld drill bit. So also please be careful with these drill bits because they do tend to get hot. Well, it looks like the top's like tucked in there, tucked in behind the firewall, so you're gonna have to fucking drill into it either way. So there we go. Go! Alright, that's all. Get a filer, file it down a little bit. Yeah, it should be alright. Give us some paint. And look at that, Dad, all done. That part's cut out and I can fit the engine in here. You know what? I have the bell housing for the transmission. Let's just see if it would even fit in this general area. This bell housing here is pretty damn wide. I'm not sure if you guys can kind of see this, but it's pretty wide in there. I'm unsure if it's gonna fit. I honestly don't know if I'll be able to keep heat with this swap. We might have to cut the heater hoses back as far as we can. So there's quite a bit of modifications we're gonna have to do. I have a general idea of where we're gonna have to hammer. But the only thing is, like I was saying, I'm not sure if the width of the T56, if that is too wide for the trans tunnel. I might have to take some measurements in a bit here. So the T56 lengthwise is about 24.5 inches from the shifter, this back of the actual shifter. So I'm gonna try to measure this out real quick. It's gonna sit like right here. So yeah, this whole area is here. It's gonna have to be hammered away. But so unfortunately on this section, I kind of lost a lot of the audio. So I'm gonna have to be doing a voiceover. Basically, I hammered out most of the area that I thought I would needed so the transmission can fit, but I would find out later that wasn't the case. But in this situation here, I kind of just started getting ready to just put on the bell housing and also install the clutch. So I have a Mick lead stage, I think it was like stage 3 clutch, so it was good to like 650 foot-pounds of torque. And I would have to go back and see exactly what the torque range is for everything, but it's going to be different depending what clutch you guys get. So obviously just go with whatever the recommended clutch, the torque ranges are for whatever clutch you guys go for. But yeah, so here, you know, I'm just removing all the bolts. I was just talking about the flywheel. I'm getting ready to put the flywheel in, and it's all pretty simple for most of these clutch installs. You also just want to do the flywheel first, and then you want to get your alignment tool, align that, and then put your clutch in. Make sure your clutch is facing the right way, and then you put the clutch face. All that kind of stuff is pretty simple. I don't feel like I need to explain too much, but one thing I am really going to try to touch as much detail into is how to set the air gap, because I have a hydraulic clutch cylinder. I don't have like a clutch fork, so I have a Tilton hydraulic release bearing, and I'm going to show you guys exactly how I kind of set my air gap. And you guys have to set this because it's not always going to be set exactly what you need, obviously. So this is how I ended up measuring for my air gap. So basically the biggest thing what you guys want to do is you guys are going to have your bell housing on and then your clutch installed before you guys actually measure your air gap. So basically you want to get like a flat surface, like a ruler like I have here, and you're going to measure from the clutch face to basically like the bell housing mating surface. And that's going to be like that surface, the measurement is supposed to be where, like right in between where your transmission and the bell housing meet. So right here, as you guys see, I have a flat surface on the edge here of the bell housing, and I'm going to be measuring from the actual clutch face to that mark right there. Then after you guys get the measurement, you guys want to get the thickness, whatever straight edge you guys are using, and use some dowel calipers, get the thickness from that, and you're going to take the overall measurement that you got from the bearing contact point on the clutch face to the flat edge of the transmission like face. You guys want to subtract the thickness of whatever straight edge you're using, and then plus I think it was 125,000, so 0.12, oh, it's 250,000, sorry. No, sorry, I was right. Yeah, 125,000, so 0.125. You're gonna subtract 0.125 and then the thickness from your overall distance that you guys get from the bearing contact point. So later on in this video, I'm not sure it's gonna show it here, but I ended up getting around, I think it was like 3 inches or so, almost 3 inches, something like that. And that's basically where I'm gonna take that measurement. You guys wanna write that down, and that is the distance that the clutch or the hydraulic release bearing needs to be away from the transmission. So as you guys can see here, I'm measuring from the actual like bearing surface. I'm measuring from here to the transmission, and basically that's gonna be my distance for we actually took the measurement from before. I'm using that measurement, and I'm measuring from that distance from the transmission to the actual face of it, and I'm setting that distance there by using the threaded hydraulic, like there's the bearing that they give you, the hydraulic bearing. If you get the tilt and release one, like you go with the Grannas T56 kit, as you see that I'm pointing out, I'm measuring from there to where the hydraulic release bearing is, and that's gonna be my distance. And then I'm gonna use whatever, like there's little threads there, you can put the actual stop. There's like a little pin that you'll put on for to keep it from rotating. So whatever's the closest pin from there, it'll only be like a fractions of an inch from where I need it to be, so it should be within clearance. Now after you guys are done setting this up, there's gonna be, it already has 2 lines pre-installed. It doesn't matter which one is the bleed or the supply, it's just that you want to make sure that the bleed line is on the top of it. So and before I forget, that this little pin that you guys are about to see me put in, that one's torqued down to 16 foot-pounds, and you make sure to use thread locker. I didn't show it here, but I did put thread locker onto this before I fully installed it. So some high 10 blue thread locker should be good, and 16 foot-pounds, or if you want some German tightness, which is Guten tight. There you go. So I have the transmission, as you guys saw earlier, on the actual engine. I've been test fitting it here and there. I got to where the clearance, I believe, is what I need, so I can still run the heater hoses or heater lines in the back here. What I am doing right now though is under the car here. Now that I have the trans actually onto the motor, I dropped the engine with the trans on inside the car, and I got it into position to where, well, I believe the shifter lines up. Now the reason why I have tape over here is because I actually have the shift linkage assembly taken off. I'll show you guys that in a bit. And that is because when it is actually inside the actual trans like shifter tunnel or shifter hole, it is offset, so it's a little too far forward. So I'm gonna have to take this out, send it back to Grannas Racing, which is the same company that gave me the transmission, the bell housing and all that, and I'm gonna have to send it back to them. I'm gonna manufacture an offset shifter, which is, for me, I measured it's gonna be maybe about ½ an inch back, so I can maybe be able to fully like center the shifter. And I found out that if you guys are running the T56 or CD009, you guys are gonna have to go that route regardless. Now right here is my drive shaft, and I mock mounted the drive shaft to the transmission, and everything fits. So once the engine is like fully settled into the car, I was able to jack this up using this trans jack here, lined up the holes, and I drew some circles out. I'm in the process of drilling them out right now to go ahead and drill out the holes for the actual trans mount. Now the Grannas kit gives you everything here, obviously, on the trans mount, and gives you 2 bolts that go into here, and there's a metal plate. Let me see if I can show that to you. So it gives you this. Now This is gonna mount inside the car, and the bolts are obviously gonna go out from the outside of the car. Sorry, my hair is all fucked up. It's gonna go out from outside of the car. Now, to access the inside of the car, there's carpet obviously lined. There's no way to really remove all of it, so what I'm doing is just peeking it back a little bit just so I can fit a wrench in there to fully wrench this down. Have someone down there with like my torque wrench or something and torque this down while I hold it down from the other side. So now if you're like me and drilling the perfect hole is not the easiest for you, these holes are a bit oversized for the bolt, so you can oversize it just a little bit just so we can get the bolt to fit and hopefully it lines up. Yeah, so I'm in a process of doing that right now. Once I get all the holes drilled out, I'll show you guys exactly what it looks like, and I'll show you guys all the whole process. I mean, it's super simple because once you have the holes drilled out, you're just gonna, I'm gonna throw the engine back in, throw the trans back up, put these bolts through, put the plate on the other side, the inside of the car, not the outside where the trans is out, on the inside. Just this is more of like a support bracket for additional, you know, support. Put it in there, crank it down, and if it holds, there we go. And I can actually throw the drive shaft on, because once this is on, I'm leaving the transmission like that. The engine's gonna finally stay in the car. I won't have to remove it, hopefully. All right, new struggle. Trying to fit this plate back here. So you're gonna have to pull this. There's a little like rubber section right here to pull this out and try to fit this down there. The way I'm doing it is the shorter portion I'm having it be the bottom. You kind of have to because this is kind of too long, so it's gonna hit the bottom. I'm placing it in from the inside of the car out. Don't know if you can see it from here, but we won't be able to see it from up here. But I have this so I can put the nut on from the bottom in the transmission tunnel, torque this down, have someone hold the wrench up here. It is a lot easier that way than to try to fit a wrench in between this already like tight space to pull this back to fit like a socket in there. So this is the way I found out that's going to be probably the easiest way to do it. It's going to be pretty hard to try to get down there, put this in, try to fucking find the hole without seeing anything, but do you guys' best, and yeah, I should be able to just go in there and you can screw on this nylon locking nut from the outside. So I'm gonna try to show you guys exactly which areas to like hammer out. If you look up there, this is kind of like the edge of the firewall right here, and basically where it starts going to the trans tunnel. You're gonna want to keep hammering that out and all the way to the sides, because as you can see here, I have to hammer this section out for clearance, especially for these lines. And then on the other side, it is gonna be up towards there. So this is that little area with that hole. Go back a little bit. The whole area basically there, as you see, that one's already still touching. I didn't hammer enough in that corner, which I'm hoping should be okay. But I hammer that whole section out pretty much way up there. This corner, I don't know if you can really see it, but this whole corner here needs to be pretty much hammered. And the actual trans tunnel itself, like right here on the edges, had to be hammered a little bit because there's a little section for the transmission that hits. So this whole like edge here had to be hammered. This section not so much on the other side. There is this little notch, but I didn't hammer this section off at all. This is actually where my finger's at. You guys can't see it, but it's where the spot welds are, and this doesn't touch at all. I'm gonna put my finger up against it. If I go back here, let's see if I get a light. That section up there had to be hammered away a little bit. I probably could have gotten away with it. There's plenty of clearance on that side, but it's mainly all up in the front. In the front section of the transmission here that needs to get hammered. So this whole section needs to get hammered, and then this section needs to go get hammered. But yeah, the whole transmission's in pretty much. I need to jack it up a little bit more so I can screw these in. But yeah, the whole transmission is pretty much installed. I still gotta install I think there's a cover here that you can get. I want to get that because in here is where the clutch is, And as you can see there, I set my master cylinder correctly, so it's just at the face of the clutch. It's not actually contacting it like too much to where it's like bending it in. So I think it should be good. I think that should be correct for the tilt-in release bearing. I probably won't have to test it out when I put clutch fluid in, so I can see if the clutch works. But other than that, I'll probably get a cover for this. Drain is right here, so. And then the fill, if you follow this sign here, the fill plug should be right above it. So yep, I'll show you guys what the inside looks like too. So guys, I'm not sure if you can see very well, but I have the OEM kind of boot in place. I kind of just bolted it back to where it was, and now I've also installed the Grannas like offset short shifter, or shifter I should say, that kind of relocates it back about an inch. And then I also got a shorter shift rod from Grannas as well. The original one's about 6 inches. I think this one was like 2. So it actually puts it in the shifter in like a similar spot as OEM. That's pretty much gonna be the most of the actual install of the T56. The only thing left I kind of have to do, which I'm kind of waiting for someone to come help me, is just kind of bolt on, like fully bolt down the transmission mounts, because I have to have someone inside the car and someone under it. Other than that, that's pretty much the whole thing. When it comes to wiring for the boiler kit, I'll show you guys when it gets closer to me actually like running the whole wiring harness and stuff. So, but that's pretty much it. It's like only thing left really you have to do is kind of hook up the drive shaft to the diff, which is pretty simple. You obviously just slide it in and you bolt on 4 bolts. But right, as of right now, I'm going to be dropping my rear subframe so I can cut and notch the other subframe that I have, and then also install the Part Shop Max solid diff risers and the subframe bushings and risers and stuff like that. So other than that though, that's pretty much everything that has to be done with the T56. I'm sorry it could be a little bit more detailed, but to basically go over everything is you want to remove the stock trans mount, and then you're going to start preparing the trans tunnel by hammering away pretty much that entire like front section of from the firewall to the trans tunnel. Like that, the first front section, kind of hammer as much as you can, and then you're going to want to mock up your T56 to your 2J, and then kind of just slowly go in and out until you find out you've hammered enough, and then you find out the exact placement you want to put it. Then you're gonna want to fully bolt down the engine and then jack up the transmission, mark where you need to drill out the holes, and that's what you need to do. Now for the whole clutch install and the hydraulic release bearing, I touched on pretty much as much of that I've understood of it. And if there's anything I missed though from this whole install, like let me know down in the comments. I try my best to record everything that I did. I did probably miss some things, I will say that, but I'm pretty sure I did do it. So I followed the instructions as much as I could, and I recorded as much as I could for you guys. And if you guys are missing, if you guys are wondering where the clutch master cylinder is, I made a separate video on that, so you guys can just go ahead and go to my channel and check that out. But for the actual T56 install, this should be everything. In the next video, hopefully we're doing the whole fuel system and then wiring, hopefully. But yeah, this is Lucky 13. I'll see you guys on the next episode.